Did it. So, it looks like we have a quorum, so we can begin. I'm stepping in for Robert since he is away this month. So I'm going to call this meeting to order and announce that this meeting is being recorded by Dartmouth Community Media. The first order, is there anything else?
No, I was looking for your sign, I'm just
No,
being fresh.
Michelle has a, I passed it along. First order of business is to review and approve the minutes for the meeting of June 3rd. I was not there, so I'm going to abstain, but is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the.
Second the motion.
All in favor? Any opposed? And I abstain. Okay, very good. Next up is the one demo application for today, which is HDPR 24-27, 482 Fisher Road, built 1929. They're removing the existing home to construct new homes, and will reuse anything possible, I assume, in the building of the new homes. Says, that's what I'm,
I copied it and then I forgot to send it out. That was as part of the application, but I think that's probably not what you meant. You meant that the replacement was gonna be with new homes,
Yes.
not that the materials were gonna be used in building new homes.
oh, okay.
Does that make sense now?
Makes sense. Okay, that does make sense, and that's completely different. So, okay, thanks for that clarification. All right, so if you wouldn't mind stepping up and just giving us those of us who didn't go to see the house,
Yeah.
an overview of what's going
My
on.
name is Joe D'Souza for 482 Fisher Road. I brought a plan of the subdivision, a little cleaner than what I uploaded to the board. The one I uploaded had a lot of writing on it. This one is a little more clean. This is what we're going to be proposing to the planning board. It's going to be an open space plan, which is close to about, I think, 13 acres of the 20 acres that the parcel is going to remain open space. And this area here is going to be the 7 lots. The house right now sits right in the cul-de-sac, as you see it right there. This long building is a chicken coop. As you can see, they had a lot of chickens back then. And this one is the garage. The garage I'm actually going to keep. We're gonna fix it up and keep it on the property because it actually sits right in one of the lots, and we're able to keep it. Detention pond area here, which all the drainage is going to come in here. This is the easement. This little piece here is the easement for the open space. To get access to it, and this little piece here is the easement for the water from the road to run into the detention pond.
And that's Fisher Road on the left.
Yes,
Okay.
Fisher Road.
Any questions and comments?
Do you have any pictures of the house? That's,
I did upload. I didn't bring them with me,
Oh, you didn't.
but I did upload pictures of the exterior of the house.
Yes.
The chicken coop is gonna go, right?
Yes.
So is that in the demo thing, how old is the chicken coop?
I have no idea.
So would that be incorporated with the house?
It would have to be, and
Yeah.
that's why when I asked you if we could see the property, there was a chance that some of those outbuildings, including the barn that you already
Yes.
demoed, those should have been part of the application.
That barn was pretty much on the floor. When they went to clean out the asbestos, they had to get rid of it all as, most of it because, they're cleaning out the asbestos and cleaning it all out together with the roof of the barn, the roof of the chicken coop and a little shed that was there also. Yeah.
Yes.
You ask a question?
Yes.
Are all these sites, are they all gonna be the same design of the houses? Are the houses all gonna be of the same design?
No,
No.
no.
Are they gonna be,
The homes, they're all pretty much, we're going to try to incorporate, there is going to be, the owner of the property right now is going to be building here also, and she's going to be doing a ranch. And the house that she wants is going to have a small farmer's porch. And we're trying to incorporate a lot of these homes to have the farmer's porch, a little bit look like, more like the farm, type of house, to try to keep it. Oh, but they're not all going to look the same, though. They're not.
you're gonna have different designers designing the different houses that are gonna go in this area?
No, I'll be designing the houses. Yeah, some of the homes that that are, like I said, going in here, because I'm going to be moving in there too myself. I'm going to live there. My daughter's going to move in, and so I'm going to design them, for me and for my daughter, and afterwards, being here in a couple of years, I'm going to move over to the other lots, stay there. I like it. It's a beautiful piece of property.
One more question, I'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
Are the houses right now that you're planning to design for this location, are they gonna be, is there gonna be plans available on our webpage or anything showing what they look like?
No, not right now. No, we don't. I don't have anything right now.
So it's a mystery of what's gonna go in there.
Well, as of right now, I have an idea, roughly. I can upload a picture, not, the house is, what we're thinking of doing, it's not, it's not maybe 100, maybe 90%, it's, 85% what it's gonna look like. Because like I said, my daughter's is gonna be, building hers first. And, you're saying you'd like to see the house?
Yeah, we'd like to see designs of the house or what they look like and what's gonna be on this site, other than you got a flat map with X's and O's over there saying what's going where, but you've gotta show us a picture of the house that is gonna be placed in there.
That's tough to do because we don't know exactly what they're gonna look like yet.
I think the intention, and clearly stated in going in front of the planning board with the plans for 7 houses on 7 lots, that is a plan for replacement of a demolition building. While we don't have the exact architect's plans, he's indicated what the houses are intended to look like and the style, et cetera. So, in answer to your question.
Is that good enough for us to
Right,
judge on and vote on?
yep. Yes,
Is
Bob.
the chicken coop still there or is it gone?
Most of it's it's there.
Do we
But
have
some
to
of the
add
roof
it
is,
on? Do we have to make a note of it?
I
So
mean,
that it's on this permit?
I think it should be on the permit.
Yeah.
okay,
So if you can just add that to the permit
Yeah, okay.
for the demolition.
okay.
So we'll make note of that in our motion.
Yes.
Yeah, so there won't be
We
a problem later
did,
on.
we saw it,
Yeah,
it's a long, dark, dank building that had a lot of chickens in it at one point, but it's not in the house, you can see the glory that the house used to be. I'm not sure you can really see the glory that the chicken coop was, but it, it was a,
They're
it was a.
they're
it was a-
utilitarian
It was a
buildings.
utilitarian building of a certain age, so it also, it was a part of the farm, so a good point.
Did you see any architectural features that you thought were interesting or important in the house that's being demoed?
Well, there were some, it was in such a state of disrepair, and we went through it, we went around it, we talked about a really important tree that he's hoping to save, enormous tree that really gives the place character. And there, we were talking about the pediment, that kind of a thing, but it's just in such disrepair. There's black mold all through it. They've had some people come through and take things that can be sold for, antiques or whatever already. And there's so much water damage. I'm not sure what,
The roof was open or,
there were holes, definitely. There
Yeah.
were rooms we couldn't walk in because we were afraid we'd go through,
okay.
so. So,
It's a description.
We really didn't get a clear picture as to when the house was constructed. The interior woodwork looks like 1920s to me. I asked Robert Mahold to send the photos that he took to Linda DeRoche, because I believe she's stronger on that end than I am. But that being said, there is a house on that property on the 1895 map.
Oh,
This is the owner going
Wow.
back before Joseph Golan. The former owner that we see is Frank Golan. Otis Briggs is on the 1895 map.
oh,
I tried getting some additional information about Otis Briggs. He was born in Dartmouth, married and married in Dartmouth. He married Lillian Spooner, if that name means anything to anyone. He did live. Joseph Golan was a Polish immigrant, first generation, and he came here with his bride and bought that property in 1904. So there was an older house on that site. I don't know whether it was on part of that foundation or what it was. I don't know if Linda will be back, how early she'll be back. She's got historic preservation experience, and if she's back before all of this comes to a conclusion, I would like for her to just see it possibly from the outside so she can offer an opinion.
yeah, this house, I know the granddaughter said the grandfather, Golan, built it in the late 1920s.
Okay, so then there was an older house on that property, so it would be nice to see if we could locate the old foundation.
I don't know if that's there or not.
And on the 1895 map, it definitely looks like it's set back from the road. It's hard to determine because there aren't as many houses on the road in 1895 as there were in the 1900s. But it is set back from the road. And because my interest is typically in agricultural history, it appears that there were a number of families that identify as Polish in that vicinity. There was someone on the corner of White Oak Run and Fisher. There was someone at the next property over who was also Polish, Gavush, which is a very common Polish name in town. And there's someone up the road who was the same age as Joseph Golan at the time, and his name was John Nails. Obviously, his name had been changed, or changed from something else. But he identified in the census as, in the street directory as being of Polish descent.
I see.
So,
all right, are there any other comments or questions?
Roads in that spot.
Anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Had the houses.
Hey, Phil, you with us?
Yes.
We're gonna make a motion here.
I'll make a motion that the Dartmouth Historical Commission, having determined the building at 482 Fisher Road not historically significant, approves the demolition permit for the work described and to include the chicken coop in the application of HDPR-24-27.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
You're free to-
Great.
if Donna it's Donna, right? Donna
Donna, yeah.
Chase? Is that her?
Yes,
Yeah.
Donna.
If she has any additional history on the farm,
I'll ask her.
we could make it part of the agricultural record.
What does that mean, agricultural record?
We have an agricultural commission in town, much like we have a historical commission, and I happen to sit on that also.
Oh, okay.
So we just advocate for farmers, we do conflict resolution if there need be any.
I see.
And we also keep track of the history.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
So if you have any photos laying around in boxes that would be helpful to let us know about them.
The other thing is if you, as things start to progress, if you come across an old foundation or any other remains that you think might be part of a previous structure, something that was functioning on the farm, if you could let us know, just so we could
Okay.
come take a picture or make note of it or
I see.
whatever,
Yeah.
measure it and put it in our records, that would be much
Okay.
appreciated.
Yeah, sure.
Great. And
Sure,
thanks
no
for letting
problem.
us come out.
Are we,
Thank you.
All right.
One question, I'll leave you going. Are you gonna stake out all the locations where the houses are gonna be built? Is there gonna be like stakes showing,
As the houses, as the building permits come in,
okay,
you know, when you go for a building permit, then the house will be staked out on the property.
okay.
Yeah,
Thanks very much.
all right, okay,
you,
thank
Joe.
you.
All right, other business. The next thing is a discussion about when we might meet to get more Form Bs done. Maybe working towards a deadline, presenting to the CPC to get some funding for that. As we discussed, we'd like to do some every year. Every year it gets more expensive, so the faster we go, the more we might be able to get done. I think it was just us last time and Linda.
Yes.
And so we could probably do that unless anybody else is interested in jumping on this Form B project. Then I think that's something that Sue and I could work out, but I just wanted to put it out there and have it on the record that we're continuing to try to get some of those done this year.
Is it gonna be paperless Form Bs?
No. Well, there'll be both. There's gonna be one for the file and one goes to MHC, the same as we always have, same process. This next thing is the catch-up discussion where we are with the old police station after town meeting. Obviously, I wasn't here for our last meeting, which was right before the select board met, I think, right around the same time. Anyway, now that it doesn't look like, well,
It was on the same night, because I had to get up and go in.
okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know, do you want to, could you possibly update us on where we're at and if you have any suggestions or if you've met with anybody, talked with anybody?
I haven't met with anyone. Town meeting, they pretty much shot it down, so there's no demolition. So we're back to the drawing board as far as finding a use for it, but I think it's going to require, and I'm not saying this is the responsibility of the historical commission, but it's going to require, I believe, writing another article for, and I mean a town meeting warrant article, not a newspaper article, with language in it, and maybe taking it out of the hands of the select board, because they don't seem to have any interest in moving that forward.
Who's gonna pay for all this? Who's
We
gonna
do
pay,
it-
pay for the upkeep of the police station
We're
that's,
not there yet.
it's sitting there, right?
But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what future plans we have for it. It's owned by the town. So
So-
they're, what they do with it is not our, we have no power over that. But what we could do, if we choose to, is to reach back out to some of the people we contacted during this whole process to see about reuse. We could continue to talk to various housing authorities and see if we could kind of reconvene, I don't want to say multidisciplinary, but a group of community members and group members who might be willing to pick this back up again and get this warrant article in front of the town again, and see if we could do something with it. So I don't know whether other people are interested in trying to get that going again. Are we still invested in this?
Well, I think.
I know that, excuse me, and I know, Phil, you didn't want to be involved and you don't agree with saving it to begin with, so I already understand that.
Is the town showing any interest in developing the property or maybe selling it to a developer to put it on the tax rolls, eventually put it on the tax rolls?
That would all be part of the conversation. I mean, because it probably will include somebody from Select Board. I don't know, we're not there yet. They're in the throes of identifying a new town administrator. So this is not the first thing on their agenda.
So this is, right now, for all intents and purposes, it's in limbo at this point.
Right. So in a way, it presents an opportunity for us to have some conversations, do some planning in the background, so that when they do get things straightened out and have a new town administrator, we could say, here, we've been continuing to work on this. There's this interested party, there's, here are some options that we've been working on, still on
I
the
think
table.
that one thing that we should, that I would like to see looked at is a cost analysis of various scenarios. If the town keeps the property and uses it for either recreational use or something like that, what is going to be the cost of creating that recreational property? A, what is the cost of staffing it? B, and the cost of maintaining it? C, versus demolishing the building versus keeping the building versus developing it into affordable housing, say, or a mixed use of affordable housing, and rental or other types of residences. But those scenarios would identify a cost to the town of, either a negative on a balance sheet or a positive. Maybe developing the property would put residences on the tax rolls vis-a-vis spending money to, I don't know, tear the building down or create a recreation, a sports complex or whatever is. It's never been clear to me exactly what this recreational.
It wasn't going to be built where the town hall is, though, or the police station. It wasn't going to be built on that site anyway.
That was never clear, clear.
I
to
think
me.
that, he did make that pretty clear, that was going to be raised. If they demoed it,
Yeah.
it was going to be left as a grassy knoll. Maybe put a swing set on it. There was never going to be anything built on it,
swing-
unless I'm mistaken. That was the
What was the
intent.
thing about a basketball courts or community center?
That was going to go behind all that in some of the other space in the property,
Yeah.
but not where the actual police
But
station.
voters should know what that's going to cost and what that, thinking of that site in terms of I use the word campus, but as an entity, not just the building, but the whole site as a valuable piece of land. It's kind of the entryway, in a way, to Paid Nerm and
Right.
to a very high-profile site in the town. And it might be beneficial to develop it for housing, but.
We were in the middle.
But maybe not, but I think those things should be, we should promote the idea of looking at what identifying the cost analysis of what various scenarios would either bring to the town or cost the town.
So that's basically picking up where we left off, because that's what we were in the middle of
But there's
doing.
been a lot, yeah, there's been a lot of vagueness about,
Right, well, I think that part of the vagueness was that,
or maybe just a lack of, I'm sorry, just a
Is it-
lack of momentum or energy in terms of the town putting its arms around identifying the possible uses for the,
right. Well, I think that Sean McGinnis had his plan, but I'm not sure he had sold it to everybody entirely. So there was one piece, and then we came along and said, no, you can't tear it down for now, we're looking at other reuse options. And as we started to develop a pathway to get some of those cost estimates, if you remember, we went to the CPC and they were going to give us a sum of money to do some feasibility study. Then I had to go to the select board because it's a town-owned property, and they said, you can't go get CPC money unless you ask us first if you can go get CPC money. Went to that meeting, and they said, no, you can't go to the CPC. We'll come up with an estimate to do your feasibility study. And then they went from, what was it, $4,000?
To 40.
To 40, or even more than that. I think it was a little higher, but anyway. So their $40,000 estimate for a feasibility study was ridiculous. But we wanted to get it done for 4. So if we regroup, we could go back to our original thought, which was get the CPC money, maybe try again with the select board, try to get these facts and figures that you're talking about. Or if not getting a feasibility study, reach out to some of the partners that we had already identified and get them to come back in and do a cost analysis. I know you wanted to say something.
I was just gonna say that the property can't be sold until next year. If it were to be sold, it can't be sold until next year because we have the town has an agreement, a lease with the EPA for the property that's adjoining.
well, how does that, I'm sorry, how does that,
There's an easement on the south side of the town hall that goes to the back, that used to be DPW, which is EPA is using to, I don't know how to describe it. They are taking the soil, the contaminated soil from McCabe Street and bringing it there and working with it, decontaminating it, I guess is the best I can say. And that agreement is with the EPA through 2025, and they expect that they'll need to extend it. So the brakes are on regardless.
So we have some time to regroup.
Who was in, I'm sorry, speaking out loud, but, can I ask a question about this? Can I ask a question?
As long as it's on topic and not.
On topic,
okay.
it's about this item that you just brought up about the EPA. Now, this is the first I've heard of the EPA checking in on what they're doing with McCabe Street on that property. I thought the McCabe property, all the contaminated soil was worked on out on State Road, where that junkyard was across the street from the animal rescue place out there near. I thought that area was used for all the.
That's a question for the town, though, Phil. Right now, we're talking about whether we want to get people together to talk about the future of the police station, not about where the EPA is putting the soil.
But
So
all
there
these-
is an agreement, apparently, if you want to ask the town what it says and for how long.
All right.
It isn't what we're talking about, that's all.
Well, this list of people that you have listed, is this all on your computers and that's it? Now, is that available for?
There's no list of people. We're just talking about some people who we have contacted in the past and have been part of our discussions for the last year about or more about what we might be able to do, what the town could potentially do with the old police station, besides just,
Well, I'm out of the loop, so basically I withdraw.
you've been at every meeting. We've all been talking about every single group. We've reported on every single meeting. Nothing has been hidden on a computer. It's in all the minutes. If you want to go back and read the minutes, I'm sure it's in there.
Okay.
And we could develop a short list of some of the entities that we've contacted, but probably not at the moment. But what I'm interested in finding out is, do we have the interest? Should we come back and discuss this again? When Robert's here, and maybe convene another group of interested community members and DHC members to move this forward and keep looking into it. I don't know, so I already understand, Phil, you want to demo the building.
No, I never said I wanted to demo it. I just feel that you're using quality time here to waste on the building that's unoccupied, and it's like losing its traction by not going anywhere. So basically, I have some thoughts on who you should approach, and it's not these locals around here. There is some very influential people around town, and if you had a letter go out to them, they might be interested in purchasing the building.
So you're interested in moving forward with other options for the building?
Yes,
Okay.
And you know that the building is being used.
I have no idea that it's being used. Why? Do you have people in there now?
I don't have people. The town is allowing for its use. It's not my call.
The use of the town hall building?
Yes,
What,
active shooter drills.
I didn't know.
what are they using it for?
A shooter drill. So state police or some other police entities have been using the building for shooter drills.
Oh,
Well, this is the first I've heard about it, and I don't think that was on the minutes in the last couple of months.
I just found out about it too. It's something the town must have been doing without, I don't know where it was publicized or how.
Well,
you
it's
heard about
not
it.
publicized and
That's
it's not an
what's going on.
official, I mean, it might just be hearsay, but the last time we were in the building, there were clearly more spent shells than there had been in the past. So that indicates to me that they're still doing that type of activity in that building.
And you knew about this. Why didn't you share it with us
She
on the
just
commission?
did.
But
Okay.
okay, never mind.
Yeah, we're gonna shut that conversation right down. That has nothing to do with
Well,
what
there's
we're
certain-
talking about now.
Okay, fine.
None of us knew it until she just mentioned it.
Well, she knows more things about what's going on in the town.
Yes,
that
she's
we-
very involved.
Right, but that has nothing to do with the historic commission being left out in left field somewhere. All right.
Bob, how do you feel about moving forward and getting some people together, continuing this process, continuing to try to do something with the old police station? Would you be in favor of trying to continue what we started?
yeah, I would like for the Historic Commission to be kept up to date on any discussions that are being held by the select board or by the new town manager or the
Administrator?
assistant administrator, is that the,
Chris Vitale?
yeah,
And then there's another interim one.
yeah.
It's also included on any of the select board agendas. You just have to look for the agenda.
Okay.
It sounds like you're still interested in the process and the potential for the building.
Yeah, I would, if the town, if this becomes a project that is going to involve the town spending a lot of money for reuse, I think it should be very clear about what their intention is, what their plans are, and I think we should be involved, and we should have knowledge of that. We've spent a lot of time and put a lot of time and energy into whatever side we're on, into thinking about this property and how it should be used, whether it should be demolished or not demolished. So yes, I think we should.
What do you think, Bill?
No, I think it should be continued. But I just have a question, because it went through its 6 months and everything like that. If all of a sudden they decide we're gonna demo it, do we have any say now? No, they can just go right ahead.
Right.
That's right.
And this, whatever, I mean, the subcommittee that was set up included a number of different people, not just people on the historical commission. And I imagine that, I'd like to think that those people are still interested in being involved in the future of that building.
Is there still an official subcommittee, or has that been dissolved?
Nobody's met in,
Well, we haven't met in a while.
we haven't
There
even
hasn't
had
been a need
emails or
since
anything.
town meeting, there hasn't been a need.
It just kind of fizzled because the demo permit application, the demo delay ran out, and then we had the town meeting, so, and then the shuffle in personnel. And it just seemed like we weren't in a place to continue immediately. Obviously, Robert needs to get up to speed on what we've been doing so far, and he's got a lot on his plate, so.
Did that committee establish that the building was rehabitable and that it could be saved, and also A and B at what cost?
Well, the town got an appraisal on the building, an official appraisal, that they paid for. So that's a public document. We haven't, I mean, it hasn't gotten any traction because the select board pretty much was were the ones that have control over it. So the article that was presented by the select board at town meeting was not approved.
Right.
So we still have time to work on other strategies, whatever that might look like. Senior housing, mixed use and residential, there are a number of options out there, but it didn't make sense for anybody to start pulling in other organizations or
Resources.
I'm sorry,
Resources.
resources before we knew we were gonna be able to do anything. So it kind of just sat there until town meeting. So now we know that we can kind of start moving forward on it again.
Yeah, we've got a little time, we've got some breathing room, select board is kind of done with their piece for now. So I think regrouping is what I'm asking, whether we have the appetite for that, and hoping that we do, and hoping that the people that we worked with before and others might be ready to come back to the table and say, okay, now what?
Okay, and I think we're sort of agreed that
Yeah.
we should continue.
I mean, I plan on doing it irregardless of the
Yeah,
historical commission,
The
so.
same, but I just kind of wanted to see whether we had group more or less support for continuing to try.
Okay.
And I think it sounds like we do, and we'll see what Robert has to say, but we'll definitely, if anything happens, if we contact people, it will be reported back here, and we'll see if we can get somewhere this time.
Great.
All right, any other business that other people have? I have a couple really quick things, and then I think it'll be a short night. Nope. Do you have anything?
Nope.
All right, really quickly, but not so quickly that you can't write it down, but I can hand it to you. My few thoughts. This fantastic little piece of paper says that the complaint from Patrick Higgins on March 26th alleging that the Dartmouth Historical Commission violated the open meeting law, it was filed with the commission, has been resolved in accordance with 940 CMR 29-07. 2A, and so this is a closed case, and I would like to put this, I will put this in the files someplace. It's also, the Attorney General has a copy, and the town has a copy. So, end of that. There is that Mass DOT project that I brought up a couple of months ago on Dartmouth and Prospect Street. I came up with a list of properties that are going to be impacted, or are adjoining those two roads in the area from, I think it was Howard Street, basically opposite Southworth Library, all the way to Elm Street. So Dartmouth and then Prospect down by St. Mary's. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 25, 28 homes, properties that are going to be adjacent to this project. I haven't heard anything more. I don't know if there's more correspondence in the office or anything from them. I don't know when the project's starting, but it's something I just figured I'd have on hand so that when they say where the sidewalk's going to go and what's going to get torn up, if there are features that we want to ask them to protect or to try to do any remediation, we have a starting point.
Does it go all the way to Elm? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Well, the stone posts,
Right.
yeah. That's one side, the stone posts that go along the Prospect Street side were from the, what they call the Academy lot. So there was a school there. So I would hope that would not, they wouldn't, if they're gonna take them out, they're gonna have to put them back in.
Right. I don't know, would that be the, no, that's not that. Well, I haven't seen any plans yet, so we don't know what the impact is gonna be unless the plans are in the office. But we'll be ready to match this with those.
Is
when the time
everybody
comes.
involved in this?
This is something that we got sent by Mass DOT. It's something that we can all take a look at when they give us the plans, look at what kind of things are going to be impacted if they extend the sidewalks or tear up the streets for whatever purpose. Then we can decide if there's things that we want to ask them to save. So yes, we'll all be involved in that. The other thing, somebody, the fire chief from District 1 had contacted us a couple of months ago, wants to discuss preserving the old fire station opposite the new one on Bridge Street. And so I just want to keep it on the burner so that we don't forget. I know Robert's still getting up to speed, but it's something that I think, since he reached out to us and wants to do it, we have a willing partner, it's something that we should probably jump on. So hopefully we can contact him. I can talk to Robert about that when he gets back. And he lives right around the corner, so he may have already, I did mention it to him, he may have started that process. And I assume that you all saw his link. I don't know if you've gone to it, the shared DHC site that has all the documents that Judy gave me on a little thumb drive. I can't open all of them, but they're up there. Somebody with more technical expertise maybe can do that. Anyway, it's a common place where all the documents for the DHC are located, and everybody has access to them. There's a lot up there. I still want to have a better website, but that seems like a winter project when it's not nice out. But if anybody has ideas for what we should be putting up there or links or anything, start collecting those. And finally, I wanted to get it into the minutes that we just had this archaeological survey done. We have talked about working more with the planning board on being proactive if there's going to be a development or a new project or anything like that, road work, making sure that they are using that archaeological survey to inform decisions And so I thought maybe at some point we should reach out to the planning board and either have a common meeting or just remind them that it's a tool that we hope that they'll be using. So if there are any thoughts on that,
Joint meeting.
joint meeting, yeah. Okay, so maybe we can set that up when Robert comes back for the next month or something. It'd be better if we could communicate more with all the different, boards and stuff in town, but I think planning would be at the top of the list for that particular reason. Anything else?
The Elm Street mill that's overgrown with trees and everything, can we apply for a grant to have some of that growth removed, exposing the foundation?
You're
by-
talking Smalley Mill?
Yes, yeah.
That's private property.
But it's got it has the mill, but it has a plaque on it.
Right?
There was a plaque on it. I don't know if the plaque is still there.
I don't either, but I know that
But
it's private
the-
property.
The house that's in the back is being rented to a family who lost their house with a fire. So I think the Red Cross put them up in that house back there.
It's still private property, though.
So in other words,
They could apply for funding if
so
they
we,
wanted to, if it's a historic site. I suppose they could.
if it's a historic
CPC.
site and it's on private property, we can't go on the site, basically, right?
Nope, you can't
Right.
clear brush from a cemetery that's on a privately owned site
But
either.
I'm not talking about the cemetery, I'm talking
I'm
about,
just saying in general, you
Okay.
can't do it.
but in other words, the overgrowth that's around that little mill that's there. So,
Just another historic site that could use a little TLC,
yeah, but if it's private, who's gonna do it?
the owner.
But do we know who the owner is now, or is
Look it
it?
up on the assessor's card.
Okay,
And one last quick thing, I noticed that the MHC just put out a list of the grant recipients and all the different projects. And I forwarded what I got to Robert about it and just made me think that I wonder if there are any projects that would be worth looking into for an MHC grant for the future. We've got cemeteries that might need some work, or, it has to be a state historic registered site to be applicable, for these grants to be applicable. So it can't just be any historic project, but it's something I know very little about, but I'm gonna try to educate myself further, and it seemed like there are some pretty big grants out there to do some of that kind of work. The only thing I did see specifically that is not allowed is using grant money to move a house or a structure, which is too bad. Anyway, if there's no other business, we've got
I think it would be good also to know if they're still funding the roving archivist. Because we talked about that at one point and we never really acted on it.
right for our files.
Correct.
Yep, good point.
one more thing before we go, the plaque for the Little River Bridge,
Yep,
have they got a date on when they're gonna make the mold for this plaque?
I have nothing to do with it. I don't know. Robert is on it.
Okay,
I think James sent him,
I saw that.
James wants to help out.
Right, so I'm gonna leave it to them. All right, do we have any kind of a motion here?
I make a motion that we secure this meeting for the next month.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Zach,
All in favor?
All right.